In the last few years, we've seen a lot of people transitioning from many other different types of careers into the technology industry, specifically into the developer industry. If you're watching this video, you've probably considered it yourself, or maybe you're already on that journey from one career path to this new career path in software development or web application development or just coding or whatever you want to call it. And if you're considering that path, or if you're already on it, you might be concerned about whether or not you really have what it takes to become a developer, whether or not maybe you're too old to make that type of transition. Today, I want to help you understand that no matter what age you are, there are certain things that you need in order to be successful. And even if you're 75 years old, 80 years old, you could even become a developer if you have these qualities. So let's dive in. Hey Junior Devs, Dev Mentor Dave here, helping you bridge the gap from learning to code to launching a successful career. And part of launching that successful career is knowing whether or not you can actually make the transition from your current career into this awesome new career. Today, I want to give you 3 things that you need to be successful, whether you're just starting out as a young adult or whether you've had 1, 2, 3 other careers already. Now, these are not qualities that I just found on a random Google search or on ChatGPT or something like that. Rather, these are qualities that I noticed in a gentleman that I worked with several years ago. For the sake of his privacy, I'll just tell you his first name, which is John. I know that sounds fake, but it really is his first name. I was working at my first full-time job as a software developer that was not freelance. It was for an actual company. We were doing some staff augmentation for another company at the time, and we were hiring lots of different people to try to fill up the ranks of staff that we needed to push the project forward. And John was one of the people that came in for an interview. Now, I don't remember how old John was precisely, but I would say he was either late 60s or early 70s. John was a former business owner. He had built and sold at least 1, maybe 2 businesses and was pretty much successfully retired, but he was looking for something to do. And so he came in and interviewed for a web developer job. Now, unfortunately, a lot of companies these days wouldn't even look at somebody like John just because he's kind of up there in years and we don't know how much longer he would be available. He might choose to retire after 2 months and now we've got to look for somebody else. But thankfully, we actually took a shot on him and he was a really great employee. He's a really great fellow coworker too. And I really learned a lot from John. But as I watched John and I watched him work, and I even was able to be a part of the interview where he came in and I was able to hear kind of why he wanted to pursue this job, I just noticed some really interesting characteristics that no matter how old you are, they can help you be a successful developer. The first one is simply aptitude. Now, by aptitude, I mean ability. You need to have the ability to do certain things. The first thing is you need to have the ability to learn new concepts. Especially as people get older, they don't like to learn new things. That's why we have the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Learning new things is not always easy for young people and old people, but you need to be able to learn new things constantly if you're going to be a successful developer. Not only do you need the ability to learn new things, but you need the ability to think logically through a problem. And again, that's not saying that other people are not logical, but developers especially need to have almost an innate ability, almost a draw to being logical and to thinking through logical issues and logical progressions. And along with that, you also need the ability to think backwards. What I mean by that is you need to be able to take a concept or an end goal and kind of recreate the steps that are going to be necessary to get to that end goal. That's really what we do as developers. We have an idea of what we want the system to output, and we work backwards to create all the different pieces necessary to make it do that. So if you're going to be a successful developer like John, you need to have aptitude. And he showed that right away. In fact, he showed that because he was already learning things on the side that I hadn't learned that I was actually very interested in. He'd been playing around with the Raspberry Pi, not the food kind, but like the technology one. And he was telling us about all the things that he was learning as he was trying to learn how to use this Raspberry Pi. In fact, he's the one that gave me my first Raspberry Pi. So he obviously had the aptitude, but he also had the second thing, which is really important, and that is curiosity. See, it's one thing to have the ability to learn new things. It's a whole different animal to have the desire to learn different things. And that's what curiosity is. It's a desire to learn new things, to grow your knowledge. It's a desire to learn how things work, to understand the intricate details and how this thing affects this other thing. That's what curiosity is. Curiosity is that desire to create something new. And as developers, really, for the most part, that's what we want to do. We don't necessarily want to maintain somebody else's code base, although sometimes that's part of the job. But what we really like doing is creating new things. And that was something that was evident from John right from the beginning. He was a very curious person. He was curious with the code base, and he was curious with other things that he wanted to learn on the side. So if you're going to be a successful developer, no matter where you are in the age range, you need aptitude, you need curiosity, but you need a third thing, and that is perseverance. When I say perseverance, really what I mean is resolve. I mean, you have to have the resolve to keep going, because the reality is, no matter how much you're willing to learn and able to learn and how curious you are, you're going to hit roadblocks along the way. So you need to have a resolve to keep learning the new things that you need to learn as you grow in your career. You also need the resolve to fail and get back up and try again, because quite frankly, we do that every single day. It seems like every day that I write code, I fail at something and I've got to figure it out and I've got to pull myself back together and move forward. And of course, you have to have the resolve to keep doing it no matter how long it takes. Some people pick it up very quickly. Other people pick things up a little bit more slowly, and it takes them a little bit longer. You've got to have the resolve. You've got to have the persistence to keep going, even when it seems like you might not be able to get it. So are you too old to become a developer? Probably not, as long as you have the aptitude, the curiosity, and the perseverance. Hey, I hope this has been a help on your development journey. And if it has, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button. It just lets YouTube know, hey, people are interested in this content and help push it out to others. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified the next time we go live, which is typically every Saturday from 10 to noon Central United States time, or the next time I upload a video, which right now is generally every Wednesday. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you on the next one.